The red carpet smells the same every time. Expensive perfume, hot spotlights, and fears. A fear the public doesn't sense but that seeps into the skin of those who step into the light. Harper Monroe distinguishes shades of anxiety as precisely as a makeup artist distinguishes foundation tones. One fear is losing popularity, another is losing oneself, yet another is failing the role the world has been waiting for. Every photograph, every frame, every camera flash is a tiny exam, testing how ready you are to be real, and at the same time, how ready you are to be perfect. Harper knows that today the world will judge her smile, but it will not hear her inner scream. The car door opens. Cameras swarm her like a flock of hungry birds, darting around prey. The driver barely steps aside before flashes hit her eyes, as if warning, there's no turning back. Harper steps out slowly, not for effect. Slowly means confident. Confident means expensive. Shoulders back, chin slightly raised. Smile, 80% genuine, 20% strategy. A formula learned at 19, never broken. "Harper, this way, look right," shouts a photographer, barely slipping between assistants and security. She turns her head to the angle she has practiced for years. Her facial muscles move automatically. It seems her body does not belong to her. Every movement is precise to the millimeter. The gaze, the turn of the head, and the slight tilt of the shoulder. Nearby, Skylar Vega is loud, radiant, like fireworks. Her dress daring, almost provocative. Her laughter is loud, drowning out the music. The crowd loves her, but Harper sees what others do not. Skylar's eyes glimmer too brightly, as if the light she radiates cannot completely hide the chaos inside. Her movements are sharp. Her laughter bursts out, not joy, but an attempt to drown the silence within. "Smile wider," whispers her manager standing nearby. "Today everything is decided." Harper smiles. Inside, a hum, pulse racing, anxiety pounding in her temples. If she falters today, tomorrow someone else will take her place. Younger, hungrier, without doubts. Here, the hesitant are not loved. Here they love those who shine, and shining often burns from within. The public doesn't know that the red carpet is not a celebration, but a battlefield. And this battle is quiet, invisible, where every step is scrutinized by millions of eyes, and every wrong move can cost a career. Harper knows this. She feels it, and she is afraid. Not of cameras, not of paparazzi, not of gossip. She fears what no one sees, the inner chaos, the void that can swallow even the brightest star. She walks a few meters on the carpet, and time seems to slow. Every step echoes in her ears like heartbeats, like footsteps on thin ice. People smile, photographers shoot, but no one notices how Harper clenches her fists to keep from trembling. How inside, behind the smile, a storm rages. A mansion in the mountains, glass walls, an endless pool, panoramic windows. The city below looks like a set built for the perfect shot. The dressing room is bigger than a childhood bedroom in her old apartment. The wine cellar more expensive than all the furniture in her previous home. Yet there is no sound here that is real. Music plays from speakers, guests laugh on schedule, conversations are by contract. Artificiality is everywhere, and every object seems to test. Can you withstand this performance? Harper stands on the balcony looking down at the city lights, feeling small, like in childhood, when mold covered the bathroom walls and the creaky couch felt like the only support. The city hums, lives, unaware of the real Harper. Every light, someone else's life, joys, worries, where there is no room for her. Her phone vibrates. Agent. Did you see the ratings? You're #1 in searches. Your contract will be renewed. Harper is silent. She hears only her own breath, a hollow pounding in her chest. Excellent, she finally says. Inside, I'm empty. Flashes of memory crash over her like a tide. A tiny apartment, mold on the walls, the creaky couch, and a mother working 2 jobs, a father who left without a word. Harper understood the formula. To be noticed, you have to be the best. She won contests, sang on stage, earned applause, a proof of existence. When the agent noticed her at 15, Harper thought, now everything will change. She didn't know salvation could become a cage. Childhood was spent in constant struggle. Every day, an exam of endurance. Every adult gaze a test of talent and readiness to work without rest. Harper learned to smile when she was tired, sing when her chest was full of emptiness. This formula for success, learned from childhood, became both armor and prison. Inside the mansion, Harper listens to the laughter of guests from the living room. It seems too loud, as if each word is not a word, but hammer blows on glass. She knows, if she stops even for a minute, she will be noticed. And if she is noticed, a new wave of pressure will begin. Her body and face are always under surveillance, and her inner world has long been hidden behind armor. The real night does not begin on the red carpet. It begins outside the city, where security confiscates phones and cameras. No evidence, no morals, no rules, just noise, lights, bodies, and the illusion of freedom. Music pounds in the chest, people dance too close, champagne flows freely, laughter drowns everything else. Harper holds a glass but does not drink. She observes, catalogues details, and analyzes people like a scientist watching a rare species in the wild. Skylar dissolves into the crowd. An hour later, Harper sees her on the dance floor. 2 hours later in the arms of a producer. 3 hours later on a table, laughing as if no one is watching hidden cameras. Harper goes to the bathroom. The light is cold, makeup cracking, shadows forming under her eyes. She looks into the mirror and whispers, "Who are you without the cameras?" The reflection is silent. No answer. Skylar enters laughing, then suddenly stops. "They look at me as if I'm their property," Skylar says. "If I stop being loud, they'll forget me." For the first time, Harper sees fear in her eyes, almost a mirror of her own fear. Both live in the silence louder than any applause. A small apartment in an old building. Moldy walls smell of dampness and old memories. The creaky couch was the only place to sit and not hear the city noise outside. Mother worked 2 jobs, day and night, barely having time to make dinner. And Harper, at 15, already knew the burden on her shoulders was not just her own future, but the hope that someone in this apartment would see her not just as a child, but as a person capable of surviving. "Harper, don't forget to sing tomorrow at the contest," her mother yelled while Harper hid in her room. "I remember, Mom," Harper replied, though fear weighed heavily on her. Every performance was an exam, every applause, proof of existence, every failure, a possible abyss. Childhood was constant struggle. Harper learned to smile through fatigue, say, "I'm fine," while her heart raced with anxiety, sing when emptiness raged inside. She understood the formula for success. To be noticed, she had to be the best. And she was. Every contest, every vocal lesson, every small step to the stage became a brick in the wall of her future fame. When the agent discovered her at 15, Harper thought, now everything will change. She didn't know that salvation could become a cage impossible to escape from, even if she wanted to. The first major role, 3 months of filming, 12-hour days, almost no sleep, every frame a struggle with fatigue, emotions, and inner demons. One night, the producer handed her a pill, just for focus. Harper hesitated for a second. The world became brighter, every scene perfect. Fear vanished, fatigue dissolved. Critics were ecstatic. Her brain memorized, "This helps. This is how addiction begins." not with a fall, but with relief. Every morning Harper woke thinking she had to be better. She trained her body, voice, emotions. The pill became a symbol of control, an illusion of power, and the more she relied on it, the less of the real Harper remained inside. In the evening when other actors rested, she sat alone in the dressing room, examining her reflection. Her eyes seemed foreign, her smile alien, but the world demanded brilliance, and Harper learned to pretend. At first, it was rare, then more frequent, then normal. Harper considered herself a professional. Skylar, a party for the soul. "We all take something," Skylar laughed, raising her glass. Some pills, some applause. Gradually, the party ceased to be a choice. It became a necessity. Every appearance, every laugh, every gesture, a test that you're still in the game. Harper knew, stop and they'll devour you. Inside the house, where walls were as transparent as life itself, Harper felt trapped in a cage of light, cameras, and other people's eyes. Her body and mind no longer belonged solely to her. They belonged to the industry, contracts, fans. Morning exploded. Harper woke to her phone ringing. A video had appeared online. Skylar, table, white line, kiss with a married director. The internet boiled. Comments flew at the speed of light. Contracts frozen. PR demanded silence. Skylar laughed at first. Her laughter was loud, almost mocking, as if trying to drown guilt and fear. Then she cried. Then laughed again when she realized the public sees only shine, not real pain. Harper stood nearby, heart racing, breathing ragged. She watched her friend and understood. Both are prisoners of a system where a single misstep can destroy everything. "They loved me when I was perfect," Harper whispered, "but I was never perfect." Her fear was not for reputation, but for life, for Skylar's health. That moment became a boundary, the line between applause and real pain. The phone rang at 3 a.m. Skylar didn't answer. Harper drove to her. The room smelled of alcohol and metallic tang, mixed with the scent of perfume and expensive cocktails that only hours ago seemed like a fun game. Skylar lay on the floor, pulse weak. Every second stretched into eternity. Harper sat beside her, carefully supporting her head. She heard every breath, every weak movement. At that moment, Harper understood. Life behind the cameras is no less dramatic than on the red carpet. And true friendship is measured not in applause, but in the willingness to stay when everything collapses. The hallway smelled of antiseptic and fear. Harper sat, staring at one point. The walls were cold, almost transparent, like her own life. Eli Thompson sat beside her, a man who knew her before contracts and perfect smiles. His eyes were tired, but honest. "You're on the edge, too," he said quietly, not judging, just stating the fact. Harper didn't respond. Something inside broke. For the first time she understood. Applause is an illusion, and fear is the reality one must live with. Skylar agreed to rehab. The first days were hell. The body ached, the psyche screamed. Dreams returned to childhood when the world seemed too big and scary, and adults didn't notice her fear. "If I'm louder than everyone, they'll love me," she told the psychologist. "The louder I got, the quieter I felt inside." Harper listened and realized she lives in the same silence, the same emptiness, impossible to fill with shine and fame. For the first time she understood, being strong does not mean shining. It means being real, even if it's scary. Her life contract, millions, global premiere, status she worked nearly 10 years for. Harper looked at it, the numbers that for most are a dream, but for her, a symbol of chains. "If you leave now, they'll replace you," said her agent, holding a tablet. His gaze was strict, but without malice. That's the industry. Harper lowered her eyes on a photo of herself at 15. kept hidden in her wallet. Little Harper, eyes full of hope, cracks on the old couch, mold in the bathroom, a mother still struggling to keep them alive. "I'm taking a pause," she said quietly but firmly. Silence fell, louder than any applause on the red carpet. For the first time, Harper felt the power of choice. Not the choice between roles and contracts, but between life and survival in someone else's world. The project went to another actress. Brands terminated contracts. Media wrote about the end of her career. Every call, every notification, a knife in the heart. But Harper felt calm for the first time. No pills, no pretending, no constant control. Silence frightened her, but there was no lies in it. She finally tasted reality, unfiltered, uncensored, without cameras or fanfare. She sat on the balcony of her old apartment, watching the city lights flicker at night. The wind blew her hair, the scent of wet asphalt wafted through the window. For the first time in years, Harper felt alive. Her mother hugged her tightly, tears in her eyes. "You don't have to be strong all the time." Harper cried, not hiding her tears, for the first time without cameras, without makeup. Everything accumulated over years of struggle poured out. And in this was freedom, the freedom to be herself, even if she does not shine, even if she is not perfect. She remembered childhood, the creaky couch, mold in the bathroom, the warm hand of her mother, still fighting for their existence. These memories were no longer a burden, but an anchor, keeping Harper afloat when the waves of the industry tried to drown her. Therapy, sleep, walks, reading, silence. Harper learned to be herself, slowly, step by step. Every morning began with breath, slow and mindful. She wrote in a journal, analyzing fears and anxieties previously unnoticed amidst the noise of fame. Skylar left rehab, no shine, but with depth, her laughter softer, her gaze honest. "I'm afraid to go back," she said, looking at the city outside. "So am I," Harper admitted. They sat together in silence, and in that quiet was more trust than in any noisy party ever. First interview after the break. Not about roles, not about awards, about fear, addiction, pressure. "The scariest thing is not the drugs," Harper said to the camera. "The scariest thing is believing you're nobody without applause." People listened. The industry stayed silent. The public saw a human being, someone who survived fame, loss, and inner crises, yet remained herself. Harper felt for the first time that her voice could be heard, not for sensation, but to realize that behind the shine, the red carpet, and millions of followers lies real life, full of fear and pain. A charity gala, spotlight burning her eyes, applause loud, but inside, quiet. Harper walked the corridor, feeling each step in heels, as if connecting with reality, not illusion. Skylar sat in the hall, her smile real, unforced. Harper felt support, for the first time in years, every movement intentional, every word her own, not scripted for others. "You look different," Skylar said, meeting her gaze. "I'm alive," Harper replied. And it was true. The evening went on, laughter soft and sincere, applause no longer a verdict. Harper understood. She can shine not for everyone, but for herself. She chose an independent film, a living script, a complex character, no gloss, no perfect smile. "Not profitable," said her agent, suppressing irritation. "Honest," Harper replied. She wanted to be alive, not the brightest, to feel, not just exist for show. Each day she learned to listen to herself, her desires, her fears, not the demands of the industry. On set it was quiet, but Harper felt this silent hum inside, the noise of real life, real emotions, which do not need applause. Before each scene, fear, always comes. It's like a dark shadow behind you, a cold wind in a room without windows. But now Harper knew it is a signal, not an enemy. Emptiness is the enemy. Emptiness cannot be treated with substances or the attention of crowds. It can only be filled with oneself, one's thoughts, one's breath, memories of who you truly are. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and allowed herself to be human, even if the audience sees only an image. Fear remained, but it no longer controlled her life. Before the premiere, Skylar approached Harper, quietly, almost whispering, "If everything disappears, who will you be?" "A human," Harper replied, the words sounding like a mantra. "Then we've won," said Skylar. They embraced. No cameras, no lights, no audience. Two souls, having crossed the abyss of fame, addiction, and inner fear, found each other in reality. Backstage, it was quiet. Every sound, footsteps, breathing, the rustle of clothing, seemed louder than any applause when you realize you are now free. Do stars live a dream? No. A dream without support is an abyss. Fame amplifies everything: joy, fear, emptiness. If empty, the void is immense. If afraid, the monster grows. If there is support, fame won't destroy. Some fall, some disappear, some manage to stop. The scariest secret is not the drugs. The scariest secret is the fear of being nobody without the stage. If someone does not know who they are without applause, one day applause will become their silence. Harper smiles to herself, Skylar beside her, and that is more important than any award or contract. Now she can breathe. Now she lives.